Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm just buzzing with excitement. As you know, I've started to do these inspirational stories on the other side of fear. And I have to tell you, I knew immediately who my second interview was going to be. Miss Laura Luth, that's here today. I I've been with Laura, I don't even know how many years now, Laura, probably maybe 10.
10. I was going to say probably 10.
Yeah, as you know, she's been a colleague, she's been a client, a friend, and I just know her story over this past year, and I know she's going to inspire everyone here. And I really intuitively, I knew I had to ask her, of course. She said yes, yes, yes. And I know for anybody that, these are times that I feel this topic is such a beautiful topic to talk about, to be authentic, to be open, to be vulnerable. But we can, what I teach is we have a choice. We can choose fear and uncertainty, or we can choose to reach in. And I know Laura has a big, huge spiritual toolbox like myself, and go in and find those spiritual tools that help us transform fear into miracles, into trust and love. So I just want to welcome everyone to comment or ask any questions during it, but I'll focus on really talking with Laura. And I know just through her sharing, just be open to receiving your own gems, your own connections, your own miracles that you can leave here with, and be inspired to bring them into your life. So, Laura, I want you to share. You've been through a huge transition in this past year, and I really want you to share what that journey was like from where you've been on your spiritual journey. But also, one thing that I like to bring into my groups, my sessions and community is being authentic, bringing all of who you are, your vulnerability. And I know you, and I know that's who you are. So I don't have to worry about that, but feel free to be honest and open with everyone what you've been through in this past year.
Hi, I'm so excited and honored. I can't even tell you. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I opened my own practice and really took a leap of faith and said, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough. The angels will follow me too and come and do my healing with me. And that was everything and more. And then COVID happened, and my husband also retired at the same time. And our daughter was going off to college this year. She just started her freshman year in June. And we had been spending the winters where it was almost like I felt like I was starting to be a gerbil, like just on a wheel all the time, the same day. And my husband said to our daughter, I can't sit in the winter and read another book. Like, it's time for us to have our adventure. And so he proposed all kinds of, we'll sell that and we'll do this. And we'd been coming out to Arizona for a couple of years. And I always felt wherever I ended up, when I ended up in Rhode Island, we have a house in Rhode Island that we end up using it to rent out to Rhode Island kids. It was like another one of those gifts that we received so we could have this house. And when I ended up in Rhode Island, I always felt like my soul knew. When I go to these rocks, they're so healing. There's something about the place. So I started to really say, wherever I'm supposed to end up next, Spirit, help me find it. Know that I'm going to feel it in my body, not just, it's smart to go out to, retire here. So we had been bringing my mother-in-law out to Arizona, and I'd gone to Sedona a couple of times, and I was starting to let go of the idea of having the center. And Karen inspired me many years ago when you let go of the center, saying, when it's time, you'll just know. And then there's a freedom that happens. And, we want to hold on to what we know. It's how do I do it without it? And a couple years we just been coming here, and something spoke to me the last visit. I came to Sedona and I did a whole day retreat at a stupa chapel, and spirit spoke to me and my husband, who doesn't get spoken to, he says.
Wow.
And so that was kind of the beginning of letting go of what we know and what we have. You know, I have aging parents in Connecticut. I have a mom who I've been her primary caretaker. And to be able to say, I know it's okay, she will be fine if we move, that was like the scariest thing for me. But I just kept saying it was time for maybe us to separate so she could heal in a different way, because I was putting my whole healing self into her. And I really trusted, and they're going to come out in January and spend a month. I have every faith that when she comes out here, her body heals because of the air, because of the energy. And so this fundamental trust was something I'm not used to. And Karen and I have gotten together, and last year in January, we got together in a retreat format where we just put some of our healers, friends, in a space and said we were all kind of feeling away. It's time to jumpstart something.
Yeah.
It's time
Can I pause
to,
you there for a second? Because,
yeah,
the couple things that I'm hearing. One, you were asking about what's next between, and then you felt inspired. Something kind of woke up inside you and your husband. And then when we came together in January, I feel sometimes we need to come together in community away from our family and friends, because they always have our best interest in mind. But come on, they have their
right.
attachments. They like us to stay the same. And sometimes we need to be with colleagues, community, in order to be connected to ourselves, but also be supported where they're not attached to our personal outcome, right?
There was
Um,
not a lot of support from, our Italian family that said, I'm going to Arizona across the country. What? Were
yeah,
and that was, again, that was something like, how do I let that go and not have that thing play in my mind?
right.
And I, now they're all excited to come out. But even that time we were together, some of it is just having a place to speak safely,
Yeah,
to be in the energy of, women just working through this, or just our group working through the same. And in the end, we all kind of walked away. We're like, nothing's really broken. It's just about asking, trusting, and just doing what we all do every day, which is our group. We're very spiritual group, and we were like, how are we sometimes the ones that but fail on our own
right.
for
Yeah,
ourselves, but yet we can inspire everybody on our journey through teaching, and I'm a healer and doing that. So it's
yeah,
kind of an interesting wake up being in that group saying, there's nothing broken. Why am I trying to fix anything? It's just
yeah,
about allowing the energy to continue to show me. And it has for the last, 15 years. It just showed
yeah.
me every time it was time for a change.
And
But
then in
people,
the midst of all that, you have, like, I know what a big transition to have your daughter, and she's your only daughter, take her next step in her next chapter and go to college. So here you are, you have the transition of your business, of your home, and of your daughter. So be honest, what kind of fears did come up for you, and how did you move through the fears?
the biggest fear was leaving my daughter. We were able to not sell our home in Connecticut for this year, which was the only way I could have done it for myself. But now the conversation's coming up where it's like, Lex, it's time to let it go. And she's actually went to the hospital today to see if she's cold. And I'm like, I'm a mom, I want to be there. But I
Right.
just continue to have very open conversations with her. And I tell her I might be across the country, but I'm right here. We FaceTime more than we ever have. She tells me more than she's ever done in the house when we were together. I'm actually flying home on Saturday. So I've made some promises to her to just to continue to be the best mom I can while I'm still living in my authentic life truth, which was so hard because, you know, the judgment that happens from others, you know, the two sisters, like I could never leave my daughter. And hearing that and still trusting and saying, okay, but I know she's going to be okay because I trust the process. I trust my divine team. I know she's a strong woman who is learning how to live a little bit without mommy. But I've done that since she was a baby. She's always been so independent. So I had that base that we built with her. But I'll tell you, I left her at college and people are like, how are you even doing this, Laura? And I say, one day at a time, one moment at a time, and
Beautiful.
mostly by prayer. And
Yeah.
because there's something I can't describe. I wish I had words, but there's something that I knew last year when we did the building the house that I would be fine, that it would be great. That I even when I was like, what the hell are we doing, Rich? You know, I just had this underlying feeling that it was going to be okay. And
So what I hear is one step at a time, one moment at a time, and getting to trust through prayer and letting go. Like you had to let go of what other people were saying too. I mean, that is something. Everybody's got their story, everybody's got their history, everybody's got their reasons why. But what I kept witnessing with you is you were staying. Well, you had we all have our peaks
oh,
and valleys, right? And
we're
let's
human.
be honest. And that's how we grow. That's how we evolve. But you know how to come back here. You know how to come back to yourself, to your center, to prayer. You know, these are all the things that we both teach. And that, well, you share, I know that makes a huge difference for me. But how did that difference make staying in the moment, taking one step at a time?
I honestly don't think I could have done that or would have had the tools to do it. And if I can back up even a little bit, you know, I had done some retreats with you. I'd done some breath work with you and Louie. I went through soul entrainment as a client, and then I was certified to do it. And as I did those steps, I believe that's what got me here. I don't think ever in my life I thought I could do even having my own center if I hadn't spoken to myself, if I hadn't allowed my soul to tell me in its own voice that is of my highest best that I had this gift, that I was a connected being, that God and all that is wanted to work with me through me. I could not even say that. Like sometimes it's you have to step back and say, how is that even me? You know, Laura Luth, the 20-year-old, was not that girl. So, you know, just having I think it's for people that want this inspiration and I want to do things that I'm so afraid of. I think you have to look at all the baby steps that it took for you to get here and remember to recognize, because I think it's hard for us to recognize the good or
Right.
the awesomeness that is us. I think people can't really see that. And I feel like when I had one of the soul entrainments and my soul actually said, stop blocking, your future's bigger than you can ever imagine.
Mhm.
And then doing breath work, and you know, I'm waiting for all this that happens around me, and all of a sudden I'm just walking up a hill and being surrounded by my divine team and Jesus. And I'm like, huh. And that's what they kept saying. This is your life. You have to own it. And so
Yeah.
if I stayed stuck, I kept in writing in my journal that some days when I was feeling stuck or afraid or, you know, my throat wasn't working because I couldn't speak that truth or being dimmed, you know, just because I wanted to fit in with my family and friends, my soul always said, mm-mm,
Yeah.
it's time. It's
Yeah.
time. So the last year was, it's time. Keep walking. It's time. Keep walking.
And listen to that inner voice. I hear that so strong. Like you've learned how to listen to it, but also discern what it's communicating. And so,
Mhm.
I think that's some of the tools that we've worked with. We've worked with connecting with the soul, listening to the soul, journaling about it, picking cards. I mean, these are ways that when we feel like we're kind of in that unknown and wobbly and everything, again, that big spiritual toolbox that we reach into. And so now that you're in Arizona, your daughter's at school, I feel like you're on the cusp of reinventing
I am.
yourself. What do you feel? Because again, fear makes us grow, doesn't it?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you feel's on the other side of fear after you've kind of walked step by step, trusted
Bef-
and kept going, right?
So the word that just keep coming when you say that is freedom.
Oh,
I am free to be me. I am just free. I said earlier, this interview was even such a divine timing for us because I'm here trying to start something new. I'm actually literally this week, my casita is going to be my studio here, so I can do the physical healing. And I'm working on how do I introduce myself to people? How do I tell them who I am without people thinking, oh, one of those, you know what I mean? And just being able to have this opportunity to just tell this story and be free to say it, because I remember even starting, Karen, the ego wants to just choke me a little, and I'm like, nope, there it is, it's still here,
yeah,
it's part of being a human
yeah,
being,
yeah,
but freedom to be me is all I keep hearing, is like I can be whoever I want to be here. I don't have to take anything that I've owned or allowed others to own for me. I just have this freedom, and I am so flippin' happy out here. I can't even stand it. I'm doing things I probably never would have done. I took a little part-time job just to do something completely different than healing, to be free of that for a little while. I'm doing volunteering, all kinds of things that I didn't have the time because we were working and doing and being stuck in that wheel. I just every day I wake up and like, what's the adventure today?
wow,
So it's probably the most free I have been to be me. And I will just add that my story has always been about my physical body, and that has been a huge part of what I have let go. I'm like, I barely think that way. It does, my brain doesn't even feel it. I dress and I don't have that same angst about what I saw back in the mirror. And I really prayed coming here, like that's going to be the freedom of not having that voice about the body and the weight and I think that letting all of that fear finally be gone, and trusting and listening and knowing that what I love the most that what you teach is that we have the answers within. And I was always looking outside, some kind of exercise, some kind of diet. I've just found this peace. I
yeah,
can't explain it except for
beautiful.
it was time for me to just be free.
Wow. I have to tell you, it's interesting. And I wonder as I keep doing these, if that freedom theme is going to be common because I interviewed Emily about ending a relationship and moving beyond that fear. And she said the exact same thing was freedom. Yeah. So, again, so we're always going to, let's be realistic. Okay.
Yep.
We're human. We're on this human journey. We're here to grow, experience, learn, create. We're gonna face fear again. Okay.
Right.
So, what if you could be that voice, like that voice within that imprints in this moment? That calls out to you when you're in the fear, what would you want to remember to say to yourself?
Just breathe. I have this new technique that when that comes, I take a big breath, I count to 10, and I wait instead of being so quick. But I'll say to myself, and I already know it's coming, uh, that I wouldn't have gotten this far and I wouldn't have been this free if I had listened and just collapsed in fear.
Yeah.
There's going to be fear. I can tell you, I fear that something may happen with my parents and I need to go back, or my daughter doesn't want us to sell her house and she's going to not be able to handle it well and it'll be an emotional wreck for her. And I mean, all these things are real. They're still here. There's still things I have to go through. But every time I think about it, I have to go back to, I can't live in the what if. I can't be
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
it's going to happen. I just continue to stay in that energy. I mean, it's such a hard practice. And some days I'm better at it and some days I'm not. But the thing I do now is I really do take a lot of deep breaths. I count to 10. I start my mornings in a deeper state of meditation. I have more space here to be quiet and still. And I just keep hearing, we've got you.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
the breath really brings us back to the present moment because, as you said, those fears are, I call it future tripping. We're in what if, but they're not happening now. And
they're
that's,
not real.
yeah, one of the biggest things that I have practiced and learned and reminded people over and over again is stay here now. And so the breath, what you said about the breath, counting to 10, you're coming back to the present moment where that connection happens,
Mm-hmm.
that openness to listen to your inner self. But you can always go to prayer next and say, okay, take this for me now because it's not here, and give me everything I need when and if that moment comes, because 98% of the time we're worrying about something that doesn't happen.
Right. Because what's in the future is unknown and it's not
Right.
real.
Right.
The story we tell ourselves. So I will say the hardest moment was dropping off my daughter and leaving. And I remember sobbing. I sobbed all the way home to Rhode Island. I was like, oh, it's not my husband says, watch out, I'm going to be a mess. I'm like, I'm good. Like, we're good. We have this great little relationship. I'm good, hon. She's excited. I got in the car. I stopped. I think it took me about a week to be able to like actually not cry every single day. I didn't know what that was. And I remember sitting, one day I was crying so hard and I just said to the Blessed Mother, I need to be mothered right now by you. I need to be loved and held because I feel like leaving her, I was being a bad mother, but in all honesty, I can look back and say what I'm doing now teaches my daughter that you
Absolutely. I was going to say that.
cannot live for everybody
Absolutely.
else.
Yep.
But
You living your inspired story, you moving forward and taking leaps of faith, you are a reflection of that to her. And you are letting go to let her move into her own energy, her own life, her own creations. I'm not gonna. I get it. I wore Joelle's sweatshirt for 2 weeks after she went to college, and Louis decided wore it to bed and everything. And Louis finally said, "All right, we're done.
Enough.
You gotta let go."
Even Alexa said, "Mom, all right." Like, I'd call her every day and I'm like, I miss you. She's like, Mommy, I'm having a blast. And I was like, okay, I have to hear that. I have to hear that.
Yeah.
She wasn't one of those kids that went to college and wanted to come home right away. Because my friends were like, mine hates it, wants to come home. And I'm like, wait, this is all because we're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that. So I think about now if something comes up, I'm like, I know I can just ask the Blessed Mother or whoever wants to just kind of give me that spiritual hug to remind me that, when you feel like you're alone, you're never alone.
Yeah. One of my greatest experiences and teachings is you don't have to walk the journey alone unless you choose to walk it alone. And plus, I think it's important, I can't, especially going through COVID, I can't tell you how much that meant to me that we came together in retreat, in community, in like-minded intention to support each other. I really sense that piece needs to continue, and that's really one of the biggest reasons I created the Awaken My True Self community, so we could gather multiple times during the month so we could support, so we can inspire like you're doing right now. And I got to tell you, I wish you, I know you are absolutely we're all where we're meant to be, but you're living in alignment to your truth. You're living in alignment to your life right now. And things will start to just fall into place as long as this is keep facing that fear, take inspired action, and say, all right, this is just fear. As I false evidence appearing real, right? And how do we get back into here and into here to listen? So I can't thank you so much for joining. And
thank you, Karen. Thank you.
I'm
so excited about your new journey, and I will 100% ask people to listen for that, because without that opportunity that you are going to give so many, I feel like that is a way, if you're hearing this story and you feel inspired, like that is a way to start, open the door, get that ball rolling, because things just energetically happen when you ask and you receive and you allow. So I'm so excited to watch you in your new journey, and can't wait to see what is next for me in all of it. But Karen, I'm so excited to watch this for you.
Well, I really thought long and hard and intentionally. Louie and I were brainstorming all the time. I said, I have to come up with the right name, the right intention, awaken my true self. I've been walking that journey for 25 years, and it is freedom. It is the way to manifest, create, live fully and intentionally. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah,
So
I love how authentic it is. I love that. That's the piece to me that makes it so amazing, is it's your authentic self, and all of your life experience and story is why you're able to do it so openly.
Yeah.
It's not made up. It's real. You're my inspiration.
And I said to Laura, I said, I just have to gift you, a little membership to go on. And, I was so excited to hear. Well, do you want to share how you felt? Because
I literally am covered in goosebumps every time we talk about it. So I open the page. First of all, I have all these, Wi-Fi things because it's a new house. So I'm like, I'm so excited to go in there. Like 2 or 3 days it took me to be able to walk through that door of it. And I said to Karen, I literally opened, I got on, and I had goosebumps all over. Like it's just so much more than a membership or anything like that. I felt this amazing support happen for everybody who signed on to it, and I was like, that's a lot of energy for it being just a website. And then I started scrolling through, and I was so excited for how much support people are going to get in this. And as a healer, as somebody who did this too, I'm like, this is what we need. This is what's needed to feel like you're in a community. It's not about being out there and you're going to get this one email a day. It's so much more. All the time you get to spend with Karen and with this group of people that is saying yes to their soul. They're saying yes.
Yeah.
They're answering yes. And Karen always teaches, and she says, say yes to yourself. Yeah. And I kept hearing yes as I'm going through the pages, and I'm like, this is like real, like there's a liveliness about it. So I was really excited about it. And I shared that with her this afternoon. I said, I cannot wait to send this out to my community, because this is the support I know since I've left. They're still looking for it. I'm and the stories that are going to go out there, like this one or any other of the beautiful inspirations. And I can even see it in the future being like the testimonials from how people took just saying yes and how it transforms. Because
it's happening on this page, Get Unstuck. I mean, just since that 5-day mini course, people they're making shifts and changes. And I love, one of the things that I loved, because I love the testimonials coming in now. I love sharing them. I know that, but it's just so close to my heart. And I want to welcome everybody through the door. Doors do close Friday, everyone. And today is the last day. I'm giving away a reading for anybody that attends a 1-year membership, or if they sign up for a monthly membership. I'm sending you an Oracle card, one of my Oracle cards, and a little message in the mail. That's been so fun. At first, I was like, I don't know if this is going to take so much time. Oh my God, it's pure joy. I couldn't believe how much I love doing it. And, you know, I love the one thing that you said was you went to the calendar page, and that's what I wanted people to understand. There's like 3 live calls a month. So it's not just like you're going through content and lessons and the 40-day journey and all that. There's so much magic on the website. I feel like it's a treasure chest filled with spiritual gems. But that you saw the calendar and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be a part of this community. So that really made me happy, because I feel like that's very much in my pure intent. And you know what? I have to say, doing this has opened up inspiration to do this kind of thing. So I'm just letting, like you said, I'm trusting, I'm letting my soul take me where I need to go. I'm trusting that whoever's meant to walk through the door by Friday, 11, of course I chose 11/11, Lord knows.
Of course you did.
And, you know, I've been, believe it or not, I've been very calm this week. I'm like, I feel like it's now it's in the divine hands, and whoever's meant to, whoever's for their highest and best, and the highest and best of all, they'll be there, and we'll create together. And it's just, I feel like it's going to be our retreat in January, where we were kind of like all coming in with something that we were stuck in or not trusting. And then all of us left that retreat and we were like, I swear to God, Mary was sliding on the ice. But the rest of us were like floating out, like, we got this. And that's what I want people to feel. We got this.
To be in the magic. It's just like, feels like it's just to be in the magic. And, you know, I will say those that do join will be the lucky ones, that they're the chosen ones. I feel like they're chosen, just like you were chosen to be that teacher. It's incredible. I'm so excited to share it.
Well, I have to say, I've gotten emotional so many times, but you know, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for following your heart and soul. You know, I remember Louie and I having dinner with you and your husband before you left, and I felt like it was this set. I felt like we were popping the champagne, and you were going off to this amazing
after our voyage.
I can't wait to see what happens. You are in alignment, my dear. So may it be better than you could ever imagine.
Thank you. And I thank you for all the support in all the years, the 10 years or more. Thank you, Karen.
Well, hey, is your website still up that we can give your website? Okay. What's the website?
www.divinesoulenergy.com. It is still doing, you know, my virtual healing. I'm doing healings. I'm trying, you know, I'm not trying. I don't try. I am working on retreats out. Retreats out in Sedona. I'm working with shamans. I've been putting together some, you know, just information out here where I am, and just working on letting it just show itself to me. The hard thing is, the reason why I said trying, and I stopped myself, because it's like when you try, when you're trying, it's like you're giving yourself a little alibi, and it's not. I just keep saying every day another magical person comes in my life, because I know I'm in alignment with it. So it's maybe just not the right time, because I'm still in the move-in process, and I'm just still in that freedom of like, I have nothing to be attached to, which is probably the first time in 50 something years. So I just feel like, you know, go to my website if that's something you want to look at, but there's definitely more coming. I feel like I'm kind of in a beautiful holding pattern, and I'm loving it. Loving it.
You got to trust it. Well, thank you, my dear.
Thank you,
everyone, and thank you. I don't even say I hope you're inspired. I know you're inspired by this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Karen.
To the other side of fear, really, everyone. Blessings.
Thank you.